Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Is that Eddie Hills? Hills.
I always have to add generated by AI,
Oh,
just
is
so
that
people
another
know.
AI one? Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting good, isn't it?
My God, you can't. It just looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Eddie's hair looks better there, doesn't it?
Hey, I mean, you got more hair than he has, though.
I know. He's.
Why is he so afraid of going bald? Like, for me, you can't be in the media talking tough when you're scared of going bald. Do you know what I
I
mean?
know. I don't know what's the matter with Eddie lately. He seems to have put money before anything else, doesn't he?
Mate, has he really got a choice?
No, he's a promoter, isn't
Well, he's like a lower level promoter now. He's not what he used to be.
he? I know. Uh, what do you think about the latest goings on then, Terry? In the
Which
sport.
ones?
Adam Azim, Dalton Smith, what's going on there?
Um, I think the fight has to happen. Like, and we talked about this before, didn't we? And it was about, would you rather be a cheap Mercedes or an expensive Skoda? And Adam Azim in beating Lipnets is like a cheap Mercedes, but he's still being linked to a Mercedes. Whereas Dalton Smith beat a guy, we don't even remember his name now. And so Dalton Smith needs that sort of name on his record now, where we can go, okay, like a Victor Postor, for example.
Yeah.
He needs something like that where we can go, okay, I know he's seen better days, but he's going to pose some different questions to you. But I just don't think Hearn's got the money for that.
Oh yeah.
No, or he would have done it by now.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I can't understand why. I mean, I've seen Barry McGuigan on Talksport explaining it. Why they just don't get it happening now because they're trying to big something up that I don't really think it's that big a fight, you know. They're not big enough at personalities, are they?
They're not crossover. That's the
No.
thing. The fights you let build up are fighters that have already crossed over.
Yeah.
So Joshua versus Dillian Whyte, you can let that one build because they've already crossed over. Um, whereas there are other fights like Dalton Smith versus Adam Zim's a trade fight. It's a fight for people who watch boxing.
Yeah. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a fight for casuals, is it?
It's just a modern version of Ahara Davis versus Jack Catterall.
Yeah, that's probably it in a nutshell, Terry, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But they're trying to sex everything up. And I get it from Ben Shalom's perspective because he's got to keep Sky happy because they can't be happy with what's happening at the moment. But from Hearn's perspective, like you could make Dalton Smith versus Jack Catterall now, and that would do good numbers because it's the War of the Roses, right?
Yeah.
So why haven't they done that? Because of greed.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll send Catterall one way to get a belt. We'll sell Dalton Smith another way to get a belt. Then we'll unify it miles down the line. No, fight now. If it's a good fight, go and win belts. Fight again.
In my opinion, fighters seem to like trip up, don't they, when they're trying to build a fight up. One of them always has a loss or bad performance. It takes the momentum away. Do you think?
Yeah, like I just think about it, Russ. Like remember the days of nightclubs, Russ. Yeah, and there'd be a woman, and she'd be really, really interested in you. You'd be really interested in her, and you might be like, "Look, I'm just going to go to the bar." You come back, and she's got another bloke.
Yeah,
And remember that feeling of just being like, and in your heart, you knew you should have just stayed there and just dealt with it.
yeah. Should have sent
And
it, but
yeah, but that's how it goes. That's what boxing's like. Like, there's a moment when the fight is red hot, and if you say it's got to wait another year, then another fight becomes red hot, and we lose interest in the one you wanted us to be interested in.
do you think Shane McGuigan's missing, dropped the ball on this one, and Eddie?
So Shane hasn't, because if you look at Adam Azim, he's fought O'Hara Davis and Sergey Lipnit. He's a 22-year-old. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Campbell Hatton wasn't doing that, was he?
No.
And so we need that perspective when we're thinking about Adam Azim's done everything right. It's Dalton Smith that has to make the move because he's what, 27, 28?
Yeah, Dalton Smith's knocking on now. He's Conor Benn's age, isn't he?
There you go. So Hearn has to make this fight. Like him trying to goad Azim into the fight doesn't make sense. He should just say, look, Adam Azim, there's a couple of million quid or whatever it's going to cost. Yeah, jump in with Dalton, please. Like him trying to act like Adam Azim owes the fans a favor is ridiculous. No, Eddie needs Dalton Smith to have this fight more than Adam Azim needs to fight him.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I just think that it's a bit like James DeGale grows, but that had a bit of spice to it, didn't it? This hasn't, has it?
And also, James was like an Olympic gold medalist. He was nationally known,
Yeah.
and because of that, they were able to attach George to his name, and then George could become that guy. That was well built up. Like it was almost scientifically done. And at any point after that fight, they could have had a rematch. They just chose not to.
Well, Groves done him in amateurs, didn't he?
Twice.
Yeah, and they were like proper didn't get on, did they? You know what I mean?
So yeah, so if you think about it, Dale Youth at the time, James would have been working with Stevie Newland, and George would have been working with Mickey Delaney. And like, look, Stevie Newland's got his own gym now. I think that caused the split in Dale Youth that never healed.
Oh, who would it Dale you for it? Both of them, wasn't it? Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Didn't they ever come over to your gym back in the day, the lodge?
Only for England stuff. So they would have come down with Terry Edwards for the England stuff, but not really to spar because they were good when our kids were kind of coming through. So by the time they'd kind of turned over, then we had kids like Javan Young come through. So just kind of missing eras, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Amzad Shiraz. Do you think he's going to have an easy run to title because it looks weak the division?
Adam is quite a hard fight, though.
Yeah,
I think Janibek would have been harder from a technical perspective. I think Adames is harder from a he can really crack perspective. I think either of those two fights for where Hamza is in his career, I think it's fair. Um, what do you do after that? I think you just move up. I think he's got to move up. He's because there's nothing there for him.
yeah. Do you think that he's got a world title in him at super middle?
I'm trying to think. Most people have gone up from middle to super middle win a belt, don't they?
Yeah.
Because super mid's not the most competitive division. It's almost like this weird kind of you just go there when you need a belt.
Well, I just think that super middleweight's its weakest it's ever been.
Has it ever really been strong?
Well, it's super six, you'd have said it, won't you?
Yeah, I guess so. But it's one of those, isn't it, that people talk about there was a point in time where you had Tony, Jones, you'd have had Benn, Eubank, Collins, McClellan. Yeah, yeah. So there was a time when there was some depth, but then it goes really really weak, doesn't it? Because everyone goes up to 175 because there's more money there.
Yeah, there is now, isn't there?
But 175 was always a classic division. Like it's an old school division
Yeah.
where you can always tap into its history. But if you look at the super mid, it doesn't go back to the 1970s, does it? So they haven't got the heritage yet.
84.
Yeah. And so who are you going to put up? The highlights of Carl getting splattered about by Andre Ward.
You're there again, aren't you? You're
I will
unpredictable.
keep doing it till he puts you on his channel.
He shouldn't have asked me, should he? He knows I was going to say yeah, and then to swerve me.
Yeah, man. You might have to start calling him out.
No, I've called him. I've told him. I know he's listening.
Big fighting man from Nottingham.
He needs some. The Eubank Benn situation. I know you've covered it, and I put it on my channel, and I spoke about it yesterday. But I don't think we ever spoke about Eubank Senior, where he was going on about back in the day when him and Watson moved up to fight for the 12 stone belt. They came in at 11 stone 10. That was the promoter's idea. Could that £4 have made the difference with Michael Watson's injuries? Yes or no?
No, Russ, you don't know.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because what if he'd already? What if his last sparring session had been the kind of the trigger, and then all it needed was one punch in the wrong place? It, it's unfair. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because you know Eubank Senior still wrestles with that.
yeah,
So I don't know. If you come in at that weight and that's your natural weight, okay. If you, I don't, because God, let me think this through. I'd have to see what Michael Watson had weighed in the fights leading up to that to know what he was. But in the broader discussion, I don't think how we make weight is healthy, and I don't think how we rehydrate afterwards is healthy. And I think the board, what should happen after weighing for me, Russ, is once you make weight, the board should have a drink that's been developed by experts, right? And they give you a sealed bottle of that straight after your weigh-in to drink. You should have all your sodium, your magnesium, all of that stuff, right? Some carbs in there, some protein. So it goes straight to your body immediately. Yeah. Get a
yeah,
liter of that down you. And then at least you know for the next hour or so, you're not going to keel over. And then it's about your team helping you rehydrate and get yourself back together, get your aldosterone down, get your sodium up, all that good stuff, which is what stops people getting injured in fights. What's happening at the moment, Russ, is you just get a lot of clowns, right, with lanyards, and they don't know how to rehydrate people. They don't know how to get people right because they've got no understanding of physiology.
yeah. Well, uh, do you think English, or like that's what he likes to be known as, Eubank? Do you think that Eubank Senior, that is? You think he's just having a bit of a pop at the Hearns again, or Barry Hearn, or do you think he's got a genuine gripe there?
I think we've all got a genuine gripe. Like Hearn's trying to say, why is this different from Brook versus Golovkin? And I'm like, Conor Benn is no Kell Brook, and Eubank Jr. is no Golovkin.
Yeah,
But Eubank Jr. is closer to Golovkin than Conor Benn is to Kell Brook.
yeah.
Do you
Do
know
you
what I
think,
mean?
do you think a lot's being made, Terry, of this rehydration clause saying he's coming up from welterweight because he hasn't fought at welterweight for 3 years now? You know, when he gets in the ring with Eubank, it's free. It'll just be over 3 years and a couple of weeks since he fought at welterweight. Since then, he's fought at obviously super welterweight or light middle. So technically, he's only stepping up one weight. But if you go back in time, Leonard, Ernst, Duran, they were doing the same thing, and nobody batted an eyelid, did they? Now all of a sudden, there's all these clauses, and oh, he's so brave, and all this and blah blah blah. What do you make of it all?
They've got to sell a fight, mate. So they've got to do everything they can to try and make it look like it's getting to be a 50-50, when really this should just be a one-sided hammering. If Eubanks know anything about him, this should be a one-sided hammering.
Yeah,
Because what should happen in this fight? And you know, I know the listeners are going to keep tabs on this to remind me. What should happen in this fight is we should be on the edge of our seats for the first 3 rounds, and then we'll just realize, oh, Connor's got nothing left, and then we'll just watch him get taken apart by Eubank. The bigger guy should be able to do that.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. It's okay. Canelo. We'll come back to you, Mike Ben, in a bit. Canelo and Crawford. It's a done deal for September. Do you think it happens?
Yeah, because Crawford doesn't have any other option, does he?
Could you see him pulling it off?
Canelo's one of the all-time greats. Crawford's one of the all-time greats, but they're just different builds. If it was a street fight, I'd back Crawford.
Yeah,
But boxing, nah. It's a step too far for him.
yeah.
But if he did, wow.
I know. All them people that were saying to me this time last year, Billy Joe Saunders was coming back. Well, my mate seen him yesterday. He's fat as a pig, and he's 4 year out the ring, 8th of May. Is he out to pasture now?
No chance.
He's not
If
coming back.
he'll come back, they'll find a reason for him to come back. Like you'd get Billy Joe and you get James DeGale in the ring.
What, him and James DeGale?
I could see that.
Can you?
Yeah. I can just see that. Like that's one of those fights when people say if the promoters had to dig up names just to fill a stadium, I can see Billy Joe and DeGale being those two names.
Okay. Terry, you won the January Porky's Corner most views. In the second month I've done it. James thought he'd won it, so good luck to James in this month.
Hey, listen, man, I had to have one last push, man. I had to put it on my socials. Go, hey, you lot, go run up the numbers. I mean, I want to try to win it every month now. I'm just, I want to be like as you'd say, Porky. I need to be the lineal champion of this.
Lanil. Aye. Tell me what's happening with Dillian Whyte, Terry.
Outside looking in,
Do you think it's
and
got to what happened with the Fury fight where he won't promote it? You think?
I think people did business with him because they had to. When he was WBC number one, you kind of had to do business with him because like the public had a lot of energy for him and stuff. So you had to do business. And I think what's happened is people are like, I just want to deal with this idiot. That's what I feel it's at the moment. So I just want to deal with him. And unless I really have to, I'm not going to. And the only way they're going to deal with him is if Dillian says, I'll fight Bukoli or I'll fight Joe Joyce. Like, he's not going to get in at that top level now because people are like, well, no.
Fight.
Yeah, you ain't going to get that Joshua fight. Unless it turns out Joshua's completely finished, you ain't going to get that Joshua fight.
Well, he's got less losses than Joshua, hasn't he? Well, Dillian Whyte's had 3 fights in 3 years. Jermaine Franklin, Christian Aimer, and Tete. That's it. That's since Tyson Fury done him 3 years ago.
But Dillian went life and death with people Joshua didn't go life and death with.
Yeah.
Like, look what Povetkin did to Dillian versus what Joshua did to him.
Yeah.
Like, they're not on the same planet. If they'd never fought as amateurs, like, you wouldn't say they're on the same planet.
I know. It's I personally think he's frozen out because what people don't understand, right, these stalwart promoters, they're hard-faced businessmen as well, your Barry Hearns and Frank Warrens and them. He never helped promote that Wembley fight with Fury, didn't he? And they've got long memories, haven't they? But Eddie Hills
Who?
were telling him, don't you help them because you're guaranteed your money either way. So don't waste energy on giving them a leg up. Now, Dillian listening to Eddie Hills has backfired on it by the looks of it.
You got to put some more soul in that second Hills, though.
Eddie Hills!
There you go.
There you go.
Or maybe a
I sound like David Diamante, don't I, doing that? You know, Iron Man, 120-mile-an-hour bike crash on his Hayabusa and walked away unscathed.
Nah, landed on his feet.
That landed on his feet, did it? All right.
Yeah. Rode with no helmet, no nothing, mate. Literally had his suit on. Crashed, just landed on his feet, walked into the venue, said hi.
Said, oh my God. The February 22nd show, Terry, it's getting close. It's a couple of weeks away till fight week. It's a good show, isn't it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 fights on there. All good, aren't they?
Are they all still happening?
It looks like we've got Bradley Rhea against Constantino Nanga, Boatsi Callum Smith, Zhang Caballel, Shaka Stevenson, Floyd Schofield, Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Hamzat Shiraz, Carlos Adames, Dubois and Parker, Beterbiev and Bivol. Winner going to get David Benavidez the same. So it's probably the best show I think I've ever seen since the Full Monty in '97. You know when Bricktop were in his pomp.
Yeah.
So this is the best one I've seen on paper since that one. And that's the best show that I think that's ever been on in UK, you know, as regards for in depth.
It's a solid card. It's I know people tell you, it's the greatest. It's a Peterbia versus Bivol for me doesn't really make sense. It's a rematch just to keep eyes on the screen, right? Like I I don't think the fight was that close that it warranted a rematch. Um, People are more hoping Bivol can do something different as opposed to expecting. Most people are saying this is about whether Beterbiev gets old between the fights. That's really it. So for me, that should never top a bill. If the only question is has he got old, then not the fight to top the bill. I'd rather it was Dubois versus Parker topping the bill, to be honest with you.
Would you?
Yeah, yeah. IBF title. It's Dubois in that kind of real test, right? Because Parker hasn't got the most amazing chin, but he's got a better chin than Joshua, and he can extend him a bit longer. So I think that's a more compelling fight because Parker's not old either. He's like what early 30s. So I think that would be good. Shiraz versus Adames, we talked about. It's okay. Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov. I get it. That's a good fight too. Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield. Nah, not so much so. And then I like Zhang versus Caballel because Zhang's just always in good fights. Boatsy versus Smith. This is Callum for a payday. And then Brad Rear versus some guy we don't even know. How the hell did he get on that show?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. But the actual show, when I look at it now, it's like there's some money being spent on it, hasn't there, really?
Oh. Nah, I don't think so. I think this is, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't think they spent any more money than you would have spent if you put this on in Vegas.
No?
Nah, people assume the Saudis are paying this outlandish money, and I'm like, they're not. They don't need to because
Yeah.
there's nothing in America. So they're just paying you what you'd have got in America plus maybe a little bit extra, but they're not paying like game changing money. Definitely not for this card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's don't you think so now?
Nah, they don't have to. Like I said, they don't have to.
7 years ago, Joseph Parker were losing to Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, but listen, if that had gone another 10 seconds,
Oh, it'd have been a different story, wouldn't it? There's no
yeah,
got dog in him, man, in Parker.
yeah, you got to beat it out of him, and that's what Dubois got to do. He's got to beat it out of him. And the thing with Dubois, is he can't lose belief, even if he hasn't knocked him out in like 6 rounds. He can't lose belief. He's got to stick to his boxing and just keep saying to himself the openings will come.
You know, Joe Joyce, he made short work of Parker, didn't he?
Well, when did he stop him? Like the 10th round?
Have a look. Good fight though, wasn't it?
Yeah, great fight. That was prime juggernaut. It was like 10th or 11th round, wasn't it?
Do you think he just peaked a bit late, Joyce, and then it just fizzled out?
No, this
I mean,
is
look, let
interesting.
me just say this before you give me an answer on that, because we had Sam Jones running around like a headless chicken, saying they'd been to that hospital up Derby up that way or something, and his bone density were tested 5 or 6 times the strength of a normal man's. I mean, how do you even test bone density? Do you think people were just losing the shit over him?
Yeah, and what they didn't realize was Joe Joyce was always going to struggle against someone of a similar size to him. Like guys like Parker, he'll batter all day, and I mean, if Joe still had confidence, he'd have battered Chisora. But once you get to like 6'6", 6'7", he struggles because you can get to him before he gets to you, and that's what Zhang did to him. Because when you can reach him, then all of those mistakes become really, really obvious.
Yeah. Do you think that Parker's got a chance against Dubois?
Oh yeah, he's got a chance because I mean he's a grafter in the ring, so he can break your spirit with just work rate. But if Dubois can get his jab popping and just control Parker with the jab, so anytime Parker rushes in like he likes to do, if Daniel's just on that jab straight away, I mean, like you'll lose the will to carry on.
Well, it were 11th round. Joe Joyce done him.
Ah, there you go. Yeah,
Joyce were weighing in at just under 20 stone at the time as well.
but so were you.
Yeah, probably about that time. Take about 9 stone off that now. Uh, I just think that if Dubois beats him, I'm going to give him his flowers, Dubois. If he beats
Yeah,
Parker comfortably, yeah, I'll give him it. I'll say, you know what? We've got to get behind him. It's got to be Dubois, and then next changing at guard a bit. Moses or Tomei, won't it, after Dubois, I think.
yeah.
Because I think Fury's gone now, isn't he, really? I don't think we'll see him again now, do you?
Uh there's always a check big enough, isn't there, Russ?
You think?
I don't want to see
How
him.
could Fury come back, right, after all that carry on that he's had, him and his old man, Big John 101 Hard Road? How could they come back beating the drum? I mean, what are they going to do? Do something like Audley coming out of the airport with t-shirts on and his entourage? Yes, I can. And David A waiting for him saying, oh my God, Audley's crazy. I'm going to light him up. I'll never forget.
Yeah, man.
David A says, I'm going to light him up. He don't know what's coming now. I don't know how Fury can come back and anybody buy into him after he's been licked like he was. Because he basically was took apart, wasn't he?
He's out. He was at work. But that's Usyk. Can you put him in with guys like Joshua and do enough for the public want to see it? I'm sure they'll find someone. Would you put him in with Wilder for one last dance between those two? You could probably make a case for it. Those are the sort of fights you can make a case for, but I'm not. I wouldn't be overly excited about seeing them.
No.
Nah.
Okay. Elmer Fudd and the Lazy Rhino. It's has the Lazy Rhino talked his Senada that fight? What's going on there? He's 1 minute he's saying he won, then he thought that he lost, then he won, then he lost. What's going on here? Are they playing possum with the map promoters or what's going on, Terry?
Um, the fight will happen. I think it's just talk to keep it in the public eye. That fight will happen because Johnny Fisher can't go forward without making that right. If Hearn's going to make Boston fight Fawaz again, then do you know what I mean? Like then Fisher has to fight the kid again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has to fight Dave again. It would be ridiculous not to, because. And here's my frustration about it. It was like Dave was playing with him in the ring.
Yeah, well, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're like, well, Dave, no, you've got him going, finish the fight. And it's like almost like Dave was like, I feel sorry for him. That's what it felt like. It
He's
annoyed
not
me.
got the devil in him, has he?
But he did with Nick Webb and he did with Lucas Brown.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, see, you don't know what Dave Allen you're going to get. You turn up. He could turn up one day and you could think he'll piss a British title. And then other days he turns up and you think he's not area level. See where I'm coming from? It's frustrating,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. The best version of Dave Allen should give all of these guys hell because he knows his way around the ring.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like he's got really good ring smarts. He just hasn't got the greatest speed and the greatest reflexes. That's all.
and the fitness.
Yeah.
Who do you see out these lot here breaking into the top bunch? Fraser Clark, Johnny
Nope.
Fisher, David Adelaide, Moses Atome.
Moses Atama only.
What about David Adelaide?
Got a long way to go. We need to see him tested.
I think jury's still out on him, yeah?
Yeah, look, if he fought Wardley and beat him, yeah, after he lost him the first time, then I'd be a believer. They're the sort of things you want to see. Or put him in with Jared Anderson and let's see.
Wardley's riding high, though, isn't he?
For fair play to him, man. He's made it happen.
Yeah, I look at Wardley sometimes and I think every time he fights, he reminds me of when Josh Warrington went on that run. Everybody was saying, hey, he'll get beat tonight, he'll get beat tonight, and they just keep racking up them wins, don't they?
Oh, when he became world British champion.
Oh, Warrington.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could say that, but Warrington's seen Frampton off, didn't he, and Lee Selby?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he went through them, but like, just not a great bunch, were they?
Well, Frampton and Lee Selby. Lee Selby, we're touted as the next as the Welsh Mayweather. Do you remember that?
Yeah, look, he just never hit those heights, did he? Him and his brother just never fulfilled their potential.
Well, his brother won a gold medal, didn't he, Andrew?
Yeah, what did you do in the pros, Russ?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Have I got that right? Did he win a gold medal?
I don't know, probably in something. He was that good.
Yeah, it's. Let me just check on that. I don't like to get things wrong, otherwise I'll end up somebody attacking me. Hang on a minute. Andrew Selby, boxer. Let's have a look. Well, silver medal. No. Silver medal at the 2000 World Championship. Bronze at the. I'm assuming that's the Europeans. Bronze at the 2013 World Championship. On a gold at the Europeans. No, he ain't got an Olympic, but he was highly touted. Very high. Oh, 13-1 as a pro.
Yeah. Just a real shame that the kid had demons. He was good.
Yeah. World silver medalist, his highest amateur success. Both good fighters.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of people forget fighters from where he's from because Gavin Rees won a world title, didn't he?
Did he?
Gavin Rees were WBA light welterweight world champion.
Wow.
Didn't you know
Mate,
that?
wonders never cease. Wonders never cease, mate.
Didn't you know that?
Nah.
2 seconds, I'll get it up. Gavin Rees.
Is that
Uh,
why Broner fought him then?
you what, mate?
Is that why Adrian Broner fought him?
I'm assuming. Let me have a look. Hang on, let me see. Who did he beat for it? No, hang on, I think it were. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look. Gavin Rees, can't see it on there. He won a WBA champion. He lost it in his first defense.
Ah.
So WBA, Gavin Rees. Gavin Rees is a boxing trainer, retired Welsh former professional boxing world champion who competed from 98 to 14. He held the WBA super lightweight title from '07 to '08. Yeah, Gavin Rees, world champion boxer. So Nathan Cleverly, Carl Zaggers, decent fighters from there, from over there, Wales.
Then it stopped.
Yeah,
There's something odd that's happened in Wales,
with
isn't there?
boxing, isn't there? Yeah,
With all sport. Like, if you think about it, in the Premier League now, what Welsh players are really killing it? None.
that Spurs guy
Before,
went to Real Madrid, but good though, wasn't he? Gareth.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, you had Bale, you had Joe Allen, you had Leon Britton, although he might have been English. I think he was English. Joe Allen, Ben Davis. You had a lot of really good Welsh players, right? And it was the same in rugby. You had a really good crop of kids like Warburton, Alan Wynne Jones, etc. And then it's all seemed to falling off a cliff, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. Uh, Getting back to the February 22nd show, my picks on that are Boatsi, Callum Smith, and Dubar, obviously Parker. Yeah, I'm excited for Better v Bivol, but I think they just cancelled each other out in first one. Do you think, Terry?
I'm a big believer in what Beterbiev does is very hard to stop because he's going to hit you and hurt you. So you have to just accept for 12 rounds, this guy is going to hurt me. And how much of that pain do I really want to take? And I think there were points in that fight where Bivol was like, oh, Jesus, man, is this even worth it? Now, can he go through all of that again and come out the other side? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, if Hamzat Shiraz loses against Adames, where's he go?
They'll rebuild him. He'll fight Nathan Heaney or Brad Pauls or someone. They'll rebuild him.
You know the
Um,
guy that he beat, Bradley Skeet.
yeah,
That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Do you think?
he's kind of moved past that now, so I can partly forgive him for that. But isn't that the fight where he got dropped?
Yeah, yeah.
That always lives with me. The fact that he got dropped, and it might have been off a jab. It wasn't a heavy punch. Like Brad's not a hard puncher, but he got hit with something. I was like, oh, you went down a bit easily then. So what's going to happen when it does get a bit combative? Can he take it? We'll find out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting on that one. But I just think he's a bit too lanky at middleweight. He reminds me of Paul Williams. Does he?
Yeah, I used to love Paul the Punish Williams. I absolutely loved him. Like
Sergio Martinez got hold of him though, didn't he?
It was just if you watch that knockout, whoever had landed first was wiping the other one out. It's just that Martinez had shorter arms, so it had less distance to travel. But they thought of the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that one. It's been brought to my attention the saying around the campfire that Anthony Joshua, aka Big Meech, aka Larry Hoover, is going to get in with Martin Bakole in Africa.
Nah, no, he's not.
They're not going to
He's
put
not.
Joshua near him, are they?
No, no chance. No, like that would just beat all the value out of Joshua. Nah, you may as well just pay Fury whatever he wants to come out of retirement at that point.
We've got English piping up saying Ben Eubank Jr. Fight doesn't happen.
The fight doesn't make sense without the dads being involved.
What are you saying? A free 2 minute exhibition and give him $500,000 each or something?
Yeah, why not?
Just a bit of an exhibition so they can both have a bit of a tear up.
Yeah, I don't want them moving around the ring too much because their legs will probably gone by now. But yeah, let them old dudes just bang up, man. Give them like 16-ounce gloves as well. Let them just knock each other to bits. Get out their system. Because that's what you'd really show up to watch.
Yeah.
Because I believe they don't like each other. I don't believe Conor and Junior don't like each other. I think that's just manufactured.
Do you think that Conor Benn has took a lot of unfair criticism and people should let him off? Or do you feel that because we've got people like Darren Barker and all these other people on platforms giving him carte blanche, they're basically building him as the villain and he's going to have to play the villain for the rest of his career, do you think?
Yeah, I think he has to. I think he accepts that now.
Yeah, because he tried to be nice guy to start with, didn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not going to, the public weren't buying it.
Yeah, it's a bit I mean, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Obviously, I said my bit in that video the other day about it, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when you've got people like Dan Barker saying, "Well, you've proved your innocence," and that. How has he proved his innocence, Terry?
He hasn't.
You know. Do you want to go on to part two, mate?
All right, do it now.
All right, cheers. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. We'll see you on part two. Pop, pop, bang.